know, the story wasn't originally supposed to be set in Spain. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. Robert Holmes is easily my favorite writer of the classic era, and when he wrote this story, The Two Doctors, he originally set it primarily in New Orleans. He knew that they wanted to do a story overseas, and he thought New Orleans would be the perfect setting for this kind of a story. And in service to that, he made a centerpiece of the story food. With the Androgham's obsession with food, Shockeye is constantly looking for new things to eat and constantly obsessing over cooking and eating various characters in the story. And at a meta level, the entire story was a conversation on the differences between English and American cuisine. That theme permeates every bit of this story, and so when the location was moved to be set in Seville, Spain instead, that explicit comparison got lost. And so, yes, here in this third part of the story, when the second Doctor is briefly turned into an androgham, there's an entire sequence where the second Doctor and Shockeye go into Seville and eat a prodigious amount of food at a local restaurant. But I can only imagine, speaking as an American, what that sequence could have been like if it had been set in New Orleans instead. That would have been incredible. Unfortunately, the BBC just didn't have the budget for this show to film in America, and I don't believe Doctor Who ever finally actually filmed within the United States until all the way up in the Matt Smith era. Although there were certainly several stories set in the US prior to then, worst among them, The Daleks Take Manhattan. But they weren't actually filmed there. And so it would take a solid 3.5 decades before the show ever achieved that goal of filming inside the US. But for all that, the story doesn't really suffer because of the change, even though Robert Holmes was not happy with it. The character of Shockeye is a fantastic villain, and the pairing of the sixth and the second Doctor is a really unique combination, and wisely, Holmes doesn't actually put them together until the final third of the story, and then only for a few brief sequences. And so that brings to a close the final story with my Doctor, the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. I do wish I could have had the chance to have met him in person, but that opportunity sailed a quarter of a century ago. But still, it was a real joy to spend the last 3 days with him and with Jamie here on the Time Treadmill. Tomorrow, I don't even remember what story is next, so I guess we'll all be surprised together. I'll see you then.